Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
We're just a deadly duo in love that loves reacting to some death battle.
Yeah, it's time for a death battle.
It is. We missed out on Wile E. Coyote and Tomcat. We are going to get to that one, but it just, yeah, it got away from us. We were getting ahead because we were leaving out of town for 4th of July weekend, so we had to film ahead for that. And then I got sick immediately after and been out for like a week, so... Yeah, so then the new one came out, and you gotta watch this one because it's got Spider-Man in it.
Of course.
Gotta
watch Spider-Man.
Spider-Man versus Deku, Marvel versus My Hero Academia. We've been trying to avoid the ones with My Hero Academia because that is a show that we do want to watch. But I mean, it's got Spider-Man in it, so we gotta watch it. Now it's got Miles Morales. I'm more of a Peter Parker Spider-Man, but we did play Miles Morales, the DLC for the Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game. So getting a little bit more familiar with him. And yeah, if you want all of our Death Battle reactions, we got a playlist for you in the description of this video. The way we do this is we're going to watch the first part of it where they talk about all their abilities and stuff. And then we'll make a bet on who we think is going to win. We'll play some money. Real money. All right. So yeah. No, it's fake money. And yeah, and then whoever gets the most money at the end of this Thanksgiving, I think it is, then picks our cosplay outfit for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
You can tell he's on the mend because that's the most he's spoken since this whole sickness began.
Yeah, it is. All right, so ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Nice.
Miles Morales versus Izuku Midoriya.
Spider-Man versus Deku. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
All right, let's take this from the top again. This is Peter Parker. He was bitten by a radioactive spider, and for who knows how long, he's been the one and only Spider-Man.
A friendly neighbor to all of New York City. In a universe filled with super soldiers, hulking green Goliaths, and world-shattering gods, Spider-Man is there to look out for the little guy.
But in a multiverse of infinite possibilities, that doesn't always last forever. Like in Universe 1610, when NYC's Webhead got iced on the job.
The city was left without its protector. But fortunately, Peter wasn't the only one who got bit. Enter Miles Morales, a young teen from Brooklyn just trying to figure out his place in the world. And now, he had it thrust upon him.
The canon event to start all canon events. Now it was Miles' turn to be the hero the big
Next Naruto, DBZ, and JoJo's.
Spider Kid to help him out.
This spider carried the Oz formula, a genetics-enhancing serum that granted Miles superhuman strength, speed, and the ability to alter his body's electron attraction to crawl along any surface.
And you can't forget that classic spider sense, an internal warning system that lets Miles know about incoming threats so he can react ahead of time. He even got an upgrade that acts like a radar, letting him see through stuff.
But no spider person is complete without their web shooters. Given to him by Peter's Aunt May, these webs have all sorts of applications between swinging, grabbing, restraining, projectiling, and being made into constructs.
Not having Peter around to show him the ropes made things a lot tougher though. And between mishaps with wall crawling and web slinging, Miles got off to a rocky start.
Like any typical teenager, he had a lot of self-doubt. Could he keep up in school? What was the right way to talk to girls?
And how could he live up to being Spider-Man when one of the villains he had to face turned out to be his very own uncle? Makes family dinners so awkward. All that trying to kill you stuff.
Fortunately, Miles had a leg up on every other superhero.
Hey, why was Superman in there?
To man.
Living parents.
Good question.
Better yet, loving parents. They supported him when things got tough, even if they didn't always see eye to eye. And thanks to them, he learned that the best way to be Spider-Man wasn't to do it like Peter, but to do it his
like
own
himself.
way.
And it helped that this particular spider had a bit more to its bite than Peter's. Miles has a variety of unique powers, like invisibility and venom.
Not like Tom Hardy, though it is weird to give your main power the same name as one of your bad guys.
Yeah.
Come on, Spidey, branding is important.
Miles can harness his own bioelectric
place.
energy and weaponize it, which is especially effective against individuals with genetic mutations.
Punching, absorbing, blasting, mega blasting. Hell, he can even make electric constructs out of this stuff, like biowebbing and a damn sword. Jeez, what kind of spider was this?
It's not entirely science fiction. Studies have shown that certain species of spiders, such as the Linophiidae, have a process known as ballooning. By spinning a thread of their silk, they can use the Earth's its natural electric fields to fly, traveling up to hundreds of miles. No pun intended.
Damn.
Well, whatever kind of bite it was, it gave Miles the edge he needed to find his worth as Spider-Man.
Miles can dodge gunshots, missiles, and lightning bolts. He survived all sorts of beatings, including a building exploding on top of him.
Oh geez, Spidey could lift buildings and dodge light speed attacks, and Miles is more than a match for him.
Like the time he absorbed the energy of a bomb that was going to vaporize Harlem, a blast that would have equaled 15 million tons of TNT.
He's gotten kudos from a ton of older heroes too, becoming a member of the New Ultimates and the Avengers. He even helped form the Champions, a team of teenage superheroes with the likes of Miss Marvel and Ironheart.
The king of Wakanda himself even suited him up with some Wakandan vibranium.
The same stuff as T'Challa's own suit. This super rare and tough metal can absorb kinetic energy and vibrational impacts.
It helps to regulate Miles's venom powers too, allowing him to better control his electrical output.
The vibranium is thinner to better fit his acrobatic fighting style, but it can still shake off most fatal attacks like they're nothing. This stuff is tough enough that Deadpool's swords have shattered against it.
Though it's not as durable as, say, Captain America's shield, and enough kinetic energy will overload it.
Don't be near it when it does, or you'll end up like the Falcon here when he used his vibranium wings to stop a bomb that was gonna blow up New York City. That's twice now. Does any other city have to deal with this stuff?
When vibranium and spider powers still aren't enough, Miles can push his electrical output into overdrive,
giving him huge boosts in strength and speed and making him a whole lot zappier. It's your classic shonen power-up, and he knows it too. He's a bit of a weeb and has a thing for mimicking some favorites.
Despite his initial insecurities, Miles has more than managed to live up to his predecessor, no longer standing in the shadow, but side by side.
Literally, his universe got blown up and he was sent to the main 616 timeline, along with his family, and now it's him and Peter as a pair of Spider Bros.
He's even become one of the big players of the Spider-Verse, teaming up with all sorts of other Spider variants to defend the multiverse.
There's anime Spider people, robot Spider people, dinosaur Spider people, Spider people, a whole lot of them, each with their own way of getting the job done. Miles even led him into battle against the Inheritors, a bunch of interdimensional vampire assholes.
This is what Stanley was proudest of in his favorite superhero. Regardless of who they were, any sort of person could wear the mask and do the right thing. For so long as we stay true to ourselves and help others in our own unique ways, then anyone can be a hero.
Yay.
But
Feel good
what is
vibes.
a hero? To the citizens of Japan, there was no one more synonymous with the word than their symbol of peace, All Might.
The big numero uno. With a smile on his face, he could save anyone and win any fight, no matter what.
Or so it seemed. After a battle with his arch nemesis All For One, All Might was grievously injured.
Ouch.
His time as a beacon of hope was coming to an end, and he would need to find someone to pass on the torch.
In this world, most human beings evolved to have their own individual superpowers, or quirks, but not
That's
everyone
cool.
is lucky enough to get one. Like this kid named Izuku Midoriya, or as local bully Bakugo liked to call him, the good-for-nothing Deku.
Izuku wanted to save people just like All Might, but even his idol told him that he would have to give up on his dreams.
Why'd they call him
Forever
Deku?
the beta male in the shadow of Bakugo and his Sigma quirk, until
I feel like
he
we
got
learned
the
it in a
chance to
different
alpha up
Death
and
Battle, I
lend his
can't-
rival a helping hand, proving
I think it's
himself
insulting.
worthy of All Might's torch.
And so
He's
after
using his
months
badge
of
bomb.
training,
Yeah,
Izuku was granted
think
All
so.
Might's quirk, One For All. This power allows him to boost his strength to incredible heights, using it for smashing attacks named after specific US locales, and a soccer club.
Or football, as they call it.
Straight punches, spikes, even finger flicks, One For All is the ultimate in strength-enhancing quirks.
The first time he used it, Izuku destroyed this giant robot in a single blow on
Damn.
accident. Too bad it wasn't the only thing he destroyed, though. Damn, that looks like it hurts.
One For All's power was so great that the recoil would shatter Izuku's limbs when
Ah.
he used it. In the
Oh.
hands of an improper vessel, One For All could cause their body
Damn.
to explode. So Izuku would need to continuously train to master it at his Hero Academia.
Say that again.
UA High.
Here he'd be inspired by girly pop Uraraka to turn his zero name into his hero name, becoming the Deku who always does his best.
Something that he may have taken too far.
When it came to saving people, Do Your Best here had a bad habit of putting others way before himself. Sure, everyone else was okay, but
Damn.
he'd be good for nothing all over again if he got himself paralyzed.
So to cut down on his hospital bill, he developed full cowling. Instead of using his quirk in short bursts, he would continuously spread the energy across his body at low percentages, using it for acrobatics inspired by Bakugo's explosive movements.
And with
Okay, so this is where he
that
gets in
came a
to be
new
like more like
fighting
Spider-Man.
style,
At first, I'm like, he seems more like Superman.
To use a
How strong he
limb
is and
that'd be
everything.
less likely to break, Deku took a page from Nerd Emoji Ida's book and switched to focusing on kicks to pack in more of a punch. Yeah.
And that power would be needed. After a climactic battle with All For One, All Might would be forced into retirement, just a few months into Deku's training. Now it was his turn to face this
Okay.
demon lord.
But he
You're ready.
didn't have to do it alone. Just as All Might had passed One For All onto Deku, it had been passed onto All Might by his master, and onto her by her master. One For All was a power that was built upon for generations.
The quirks of the previous users of One For All
Keep getting
manifested
stronger?
in Deku, along
Oh,
with their
okay.
spirits or
It's like Avatar or something like
to
that.
help him in the
Yeah.
battle against All For One.
I was thinking like Shazam, but Avatar is more.
To swing
I feel like
around
that's
and
more accurate.
restrain Foes. They can also brace his arms and manually control his muscles if he can't move.
Float allows him to soar high into the sky. By combining it
Black
with
Whip,
controlled
smoke
blasts
screen,
of pressurized
danger
air,
sense.
he can effectively fly.
Wow,
Danger
cancel out
sense
spider
detects
sense.
incoming threats and unease, letting Deku react in advance. Though it's mostly like an alarm bell and doesn't tell him specifics like location or number of threats. Familiar?
Smokescreen lets him create a smokescreen. But he can use it at full blast to create
Very on the nose.
a bigger smokescreen.
That's swell and all, but the real meat is in Fajin. After building up kinetic energy within his body, Deku can unleash it for bursts of strength and speed.
He's combined it with Black Whip to create the powerful Black Chain binding attack, and can use it in conjunction with full cowling to achieve foe 100%, equaling All Might's full level of power without any recoil.
He once used it to outspeed a bullet shot by Lady Nagant, a former hero turned villain who has a sniper rifle for an arm.
Awesome.
I think I'm in love.
Nagant's bullet once crossed a distance of around 215 kilometers within a fraction of a second. That's 6,700 times faster than sound. And Deku was moving so fast, the bullet seemed like it was standing still.
And he can go even faster than that with his final quirk, Gear Shift.
By touching a target, he can control its speed without abiding by the laws of inertia. He can slow down foes to leave them frozen in the air, or move so fast he can punch multiple times in an instant.
Even All For One's own protege, Shigaraki, couldn't track him. And this is a dude who can catch light speed laser beams.
It does have a time limit though. After 5 minutes of continuous use, Deku's body will catch up to his speed, suffocating him as his cells become unable to take in oxygen.
Not nearly as
Oh.
bad as One For All was suffocating him, though. He's been doing all of this shit in just
Can hit you really hard.
I hadn't even figured out you could breathe through your nose at that point.
The pressure of having to save his friends, the country,
Unlock the
the
full
entire
potential of One For
world,
All.
weighed on Deku. So he left UA to fight this war alone.
But alone was never where Deku fought best. Having come from nothing, his admiration for his peers gave him strength, just as they admired his strength and
Ooh,
desire to help
or a
others.
tongue that she whipped out?
Even Bakugo
Oh, it looked
came
like to
around
me.
him.
So when it came time to finally put that
That was
demon
freaky,
lord
that, like,
back
in the
hell,
red,
his
that
classmates,
face or
teachers,
skull or
mom,
whatever.
friends,
Yeah.
enemy, and everyone else supported and cheered him on, because that was the greatest threat to All For One's reign all along.
Not All Might, not Deku, not even One For All itself. Just people helping each other out. And
People
with their
helping
help,
people.
Deku defeated All For One once and for all, blowing a hole in this huge storm and parting the skies for a brighter future.
Though he did lose his quirk and have to retire from hero work, getting a regular 9 to 5 as a teacher, passing on his knowledge to the next generation, just like every user of One For All before him.
Some might say he peaked in high school. If not for the sick new armor he eventually got to go back to kicking butt, he even made it all the way back near the top of the rankings.
All with the help of his friends. For so long as we keep reaching out our hands to help those in need, everyone can be a hero.
Oh. I got Miles for 5.
I knew he was going to pick Spidey, so I did Deku just so that one of us
Okay.
picked Deku. To me, it really does seem like this is going to be a pretty close matchup.
Yeah.
of course, I've said that before, and then there's been something glaringly obvious that I missed, but so that could be the case again. But just like certain elements of their powers do feel like they may cancel each other out, or if not completely cancel each other out, certainly make it less of an advantage. And so I also went for 5 just because I don't feel very strongly one way or the other on this one. I would like to pick Spidey because it's Spidey, but somebody's got to pick Deku.
Yeah, I mean, I went, with loyalty for Spider-Man, and Miles. I'm hoping that they didn't really give any a ton of math in this one. The only thing was in Spider-Man's one, 15 million tons of TNT or whatever that he was able to survive. So I'm hoping that maybe he can just outlast Deku, and Deku was just eventually hurt himself too much, and then that's how Spider-Man will win. But I mean, I could easily see it if Deku wins, I wouldn't be like, this is complete bullshit and garbage. So yeah, I see it going either way.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
I might feel like either way I'm going to be happy. If Spidey wins, I'm like, yeah, Spidey. If Deku wins, I'm like, hey, I won. Thwip. Nice.
Mm-hmm. You gotta have the thwip.
Nice music.
Mm-hmm.
I like the style.
Oh,
Yeah.
Looking for you. Care to show me what you can do? All right, new guy. First lesson, don't watch the mouth.
I think it's animated by same dude that does Indie Cross.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that vibe.
Oof.
Try that one more time.
See, they wouldn't fight; they'd be friends.
Because they're both good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Can't use my full power here. Gotta take this somewhere else.
Oh.
You got skills, man. I like that.
Yeah, he broke it.
Oh, mierda.
Weird. Really old New York City.
I moved us to an abandoned part of the city so we can go all out. Because I always do my best.
Nice.
I'm gonna do my best. I gotta do my own thing.
Power up time.
Oh, this looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah was right. Your quirk is amazing. Amazing is my buddy. They call me the ultimate Spider-Man. His suit has shock absorption, not nullification. So, it's got a limit.
Ow.
He's starting to dissect his abilities, though.
Ooh, I don't know. Dissect that.
Go beyond!
Oh shit! Venom Blast Overcharge?
Spider-Man, you really are the ultimate.
Aww.
KO! Vaya con Dios! Adios, Aranyahoven.
Let's start by talking about their superpowers, which matched up quite evenly. Unsurprisingly, given the not-so-subtle inspiration for Deku's quirks, though they did have some edges over the other.
The spider sense gave Miles more insight on his surroundings and threats than danger sense, which has been worked around before.
This meant Miles's invisibility was harder for danger sense to detect when he wasn't attacking, while the spider sense's radar system allowed him to find Deku in a smokescreen. But Izuku's other quirks granted him advantages of his own.
Float was a lot more mobile than Webs, and Fajin gave a bigger boost in strength than Venom did. Since both had some advantages and disadvantages, we're gonna call superpowers a tie.
Next up, speed. Scaling to Peter, Miles could dodge light speed attacks, which actually outpaced Izuku moving faster than that sniper bullet. Fortunately for Deku though, that wasn't his best.
Thanks to Gear Shift, Deku could speed himself up to match Miles the same way he did to the light-catching Shigaraki. Even worse for Spidey, one touch from Gear Shift could freeze him in place and make dodging totally impossible. So speed goes to Deku.
Damn.
As for skill, Deku was incredibly talented at analyzing an opponent's abilities and coming up with strategies on the fly.
But Miles' powers and fighting style gave Deku few immediate openings.
Deku may have received more formal training at UA, but he was ultimately only active in hero work for a little under a year.
Meanwhile, Miles has been handling everything from neighborhood crooks to multiverse-ending gods for significantly longer.
It's close, but with his greater experience, skill goes to Miles, and that
Yeah.
means the biggest deciding
I
factor
want
is
strength.
raw strength.
And that was no contest. Miles absorbing the energy of that bomb was nothing to scoff at, but overwhelming power is what One for All is all about.
When Deku defeated All for One, the energy needed to part those clouds with his punch had a yield of 362 billion tons of TNT, smashing the bomb Miles absorbed out of the water.
Damn.
But it
Okay,
wasn't
yeah.
as simple
Wow.
as that. Miles is wearing a vibranium suit after all, so the question wasn't necessarily who was stronger, it was if Miles' suit was tough enough to continuously absorb Deku's blows.
When the Falcon protected New York from that city-destroying blast, it had a yield of 546 megatons. Impressive, but Deku defeating All for One was still over 600 times stronger than Vibranium's limit.
And Deku did that with One for All's embers, not the full package.
And remember, the Vibranium in Miles' suit was much thinner than what Falcon and Black Panther had, making it unlikely it could absorb as strong of a blast.
It's there to provide more protection, sure, but there was no way it could survive all of what Deku could dish out.
In this superpower battle, it was Izuku's overwhelming speed and immense strength that made him the winning hero.
And the morales of the story is...
The winner is Deku.
All right.
Next time on Death
You
Battle.
accept it?
Yeah. Makes sense. Hulk? Godzilla? Awesome!
Remember to see more Death Battle.
Okay.
Nice.
That does look fun.
That looks very fun.
Yeah.
Very, very great animation. I think, like I said, I think that was Moreau or whatever, that the same one that does the Indie Cross. Very good animator.
I think it was honestly my favorite animation for Death Battle. I think maybe the one other exception is, and I can't remember which one it was, but there was one that was sort of done like an old school Nintendo style animation for a gaming character that was in there. So I really like that. But just overall, I think everything about this animation I enjoyed, from like the texture that came in behind them to the colors to the I think this was my favorite animation.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job explaining why Deku would win. Although at the end there, I was a little like confused on exactly like how like he like got him with the final like blow, like what was happening. Because like then we see Deku, like I didn't like I'm just like, okay, it didn't end with Spider-Man, so I guess he like evaporated him. Like I was a little bit confused on what happened there.
I honestly wasn't sure who won at first. So I was like, okay, they're gonna explain it and I'll figure it out as we're going along. But like I was not immediately sure because there's been a little bit of a bait and switch sometimes with some of these death battles where like, oh, we think we see what it is, and then boom, it's really the opposite. So Spider-Man, he might have vanished, he might have exploded, I wasn't really sure. And then Deku is like going down, and it's like, oh, Spider-Man, you're really the ultimate. And I'm like, oh, so does that mean Spidey won?
Yeah, I know, right?
Is Deku dying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought at the end. I'm like, okay, so he did get pushed to his limits, and then now he's like slowly like evaporating or whatever. Like, he's dying. So yeah, I was a little confused there too. At the end, that was the only thing. But overall, I think it was a little bit easier also for me to accept Spider-Man. losing. I said when he was going in there, All Might, like, I'm like, man, this guy seems like super strong, and also like sort of has, but so is still like really agile enough to tackle Spider-Man. I'm just like, doesn't seem totally like a fair fight or whatever. Like, I'm just like, I can kind of see where they got the similarities to with the Danger Sense and the Spider Sense and whatnot. But I'm like, I don't really know if these two should have been matched up in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, at first when you would say like, wait, he's more like more like Superman than Spider-Man. And then they start going into some of the Spider-Man similarities. I'm like, well, if Deku's got like both Superman and Spider-Man powers, then basically he would have to win, right? Like,
yeah.
He would kind of have everything.
I don't think he'd be like, if you went up in Superman, I think Superman would crush him still, but like, it was like trending more towards that like Superman, Thor, like, like super strong kind of characters than it was necessarily like Spider-Man. When like Spider-Man's still like, crazy strong, but not like on that level.
And I did appreciate in the breakdown, like when they talked about, the skills, the speed, the experience, and how really everything was pretty evenly matched, because where one had an advantage, the other one also had one, and then they had that one that was split. So it ultimately came down to strength as sort of that trump card that could be the deciding factor, in which case then you can kind of accept it at that point because you go, okay, like if you took this out of the equation, it would have been a toss-up.
Yep. Okay, so and that makes us even actually for the score.
Wait, we're tied?
Yeah, I was up by 10. It was 240 to 230, so now it's 235, 235.
Booyah.
So let us know what you thought about this death battle down below in the comments. And thanks so much for checking out our reaction for this death battle, Spider-Man versus Deku, but just keep in mind.
And our reaction is definitely not definitive.